everyone. So, welcome to the last installment of NFL preseason reactions for Week 1. This is covering August 11th, 2024. Results in Game 1, Colts versus Broncos. Colts lost 30 to Broncos 34. Questions were honestly answered for me on both teams, and honestly, it was very competitive throughout the entire game. However, there was a couple of boring spots at times, I will say. Mainly, like, within the times when the game was, like, over, like, two scores, really. Noticeable stats I can really tell was Jason Bean, 4 for 6 for 51 yards and a touchdown, 4 carries for 24 yards. But he also did have a fumble loss, which was kind of bad. Like it was like one of those sloppy plays where he was trying to be like, oh, let me try to be like Patrick Mahomes and like hold the ball down low and just kind of like be a little like stylish with it, and he absolutely got like humbled for it, which I felt like was kind of deserved. Honestly, it was a bonehead play. And the secondary overall very good. They had six pass deflections, an interception, and three fumbles and a recovered touchdown. Very elite from the defense. The Broncos, QBs, both of them were actually pretty solid. Bo Nix with 15 for 21 for 125 yards and a touchdown, 3 carries for 17 yards was really good. And Zach Wilson surprisingly had a really good game. 10 for 13 and 117 yards. It's actually pretty solid, honestly. Pretty solid from him, given the fact that he kind of played in like kind of like that late third quarter. And the running backs, 32 carries for 115 yards, plus 3 touchdowns and a fumble loss amongst like five running backs is pretty crazy to kind of look at, honestly. Honestly, like my one big take for the Colts is honestly the run defense is horrible. 11 rushes for first, 38 rush attempts on them, 131 rushing yards allowed, and allowed time possession being 16 minutes more than them. The Broncos had 38 minutes of time of possession. They got almost like 2.5 quarters on them in time of possession, just because he just could not stop the run. They were that bad on like the run defense that it was laughable. Like the whole reason why the game was even close was because like the secondary was kind of like neutralizing all like the passes. However, when the Broncos just said, "All right, screw it, we're gonna put our head down and like barrel through you," the Colts just couldn't stop it. They were just kind of like they were just letting them do it. Like it was laughably bad. It honestly, like my main thing is like the Colts really need to figure out that run defense. Like I know that I understand they're playing with second strings and third strings, but at the same time, it's like that run defense was laughable. The rookie they have, Latu, I think is how I pronounce his name. Like he played all right, really. Like I think they just need to have a like difference in like their scheme. Maybe I think they just need like a different type of scheme for their personnel. That's honestly what my opinion is. But overall, it was horrible. And second of all, Bo Nix. He played a lot better than I thought. Like 15 for 21 for 125 yards and a touchdown, and 3 carries for 17 yards in a preseason game is pretty good. He looked very composed, had a pretty good arm in terms of throwing that ball, and honestly, like that mood changed when like he stepped in, because Jared Stidham played pretty bad. Like I know I said the one interception, yeah, that's because of Jared Stidham. Like through that, and then they were just like, okay, you gotta get out. Bo Nix, you go in. And the moment that happened, the entire like dimension of the game kind of changed a bit for the Broncos, which ultimately kind of like led them to the win. And just like he was just playing really good. He just like all these rookie quarterbacks been honestly been pretty good, really. And honestly, like my own personal take for it is, I think the Broncos actually could have a good future ahead of them, really, with like Sean Payton as like the head coach. They got like pretty solid like running back group behind them. Cortland Sutton still is like on the roster, a pretty solid receiver. Honestly, for them, like honestly, if they can just figure out like all the other pieces around them, I think they can actually play pretty solid. Really, like generally, I think they play actually pretty good. Second game, Cowboys versus Rams. Cowboys lost to 12 to Rams 13. There was a couple injuries, mainly on like that Rams offensive line that was pretty concerning for them. But like a lot of those were like those injuries of like, oh, it's just a big guy just kind of like being big and just kind of like I had that accidental injury, which it happens to everyone once in a while. Overall, great defensive game. The first punt being the third quarter is pretty crazy to me. And honestly, just overall, like this was honestly a really great game to watch. Honestly, I enjoy this game. I'm a defensive fan, so this is honestly a really good game to watch. Honestly, stats: Trey Lance, 25 for 41 for 188 yards. First of all, that's pretty insane for like Trey Lance to give them 8 passes without them being like, oh hey, let's go to someone else. But he also led the team in rushing yards for with 44 yards, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Like, which again I'll probably talk about like later on in my first take because it relates to like Trey Lance. And Braden Aubrey being responsible for all 12 points being the kicker was pretty insane. And overall, the defense from the Cowboys, 1.5 sacks, 6 pass deflections, 4 interceptions for 58 yards. I mean, not 158 yards. No, fuck, that's crazy. That'd be crazy. Um, and yeah, that defense played really well, like really above average from what I expected. Stetson Bennett, 4 for 28 for 224 yards, 4 interceptions, but he walked down with the most clutch touchdown of the preseason, and honestly, probably one of the more clutch ones we'll probably see this entire year. Really, like he literally just said like Dion Dion Waiters, I'd rather go 0 for 9 than 0 for 30 because stopping me is like he lost confidence. This man did not lose his confidence. He just kept going, and we kind of need that for the QB2 for Rams because Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be suspended for the first 2 games, and just having him be there just to kind of be like that QB2, a ballsy QB2 would honestly be pretty good. And like the running back duo of Boston Scott and Zach Evans, 27 carries in total for 96 yards. It's pretty good, honestly. It was pretty good the entire time, and I don't know why I formatted the way it is, but like Jordan Whittington and Sam Wigslus, Wiglas, 9 receptions for 110 yards. It's pretty good, honestly. It was very good overall. Like a lot of like very good defensive plays, very good just like overall. And then my first take, Trey Lance. He played very well in the opportunities he had. Again, like he got 41 like passes, and then for 188 yards. He led the team in rushing, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it kind of shows, oh hey, he still has his legs. He can still run the ball. He can still like scramble out of like in the pocket. He can still like be more of that like creative like a dynamic running back. However, it also shows the fact that the Cowboys need a running back. They just don't have a running back. They just can't establish the run really. Which like, given the fact that their quarterback of Trey Lance is leading them in rushing yards with 41 yards. No, not 41. 42, 44 yards. The fact that he's leading them with 44 yards is diabolical. That should not be happening. They need a running back. Literally, just any running back that could just like run into just give them yards. Like honestly, they can. Heck, I could literally give them more yards over the season than Trey Lance. And yes, I am being delusional. I don't care, but still, that's how bad the run game is for the Cowboys. They need a good runner. But that's the point. The main point is about Trey Lance. And honestly, like Trey Lance, he kind of shows like kind of like a flash of like what he should have been if it was not for the injuries. And yeah, even though he didn't score a touchdown at all, he still brought them into scoring position. He still led them into like, oh, we're gonna score nonstop. He like heck, like he brought them to within getting 3 points on the board every time. So it's like we can't really blame him for that, really. Like I personally wouldn't like blame him for that if they like if the worst you can get out of a Trey Lance drive sometimes is like, oh, we put up 3 against like a really good defense. Yeah, that actually ain't that bad. I take that. I take that every day. And honestly, my take is like I think Trey Lance will be a really good QB2 and could potentially get signed to be a starting quarterback next offseason for like a struggling team that like needs a quarterback. That's honestly what my take is for it. Maybe like a team like the Jets if Aaron Rodgers like retires, or like trying to think of another team of old quarterbacks. Like the Jets could be a good example. Seattle maybe could be another example of a team who would probably need like a younger quarterback. Trying to think what other like good teams would probably need like a quarterback. But you get what I'm saying like those type of situations where I feel like he could be pretty good with it. Oh yeah, I think maybe the Giants would also be a kind of good contender for like a Trey Lance. Honestly, like if he plays like a really good QB2 behind like Dak Prescott. Honestly, that's just my take of it. And overall, like my other take is the play calling. Only two punts the whole game. Nine plays on fourth down. There were some turnovers there, but honestly, like I think a lot of it is just because of the fact of there's better kickers. There's a new culture on special teams, specifically with the rule changes, because it's like teams are being more incentivized to return the ball. So I think teams are more like wanting to. I think teams would rather get the turnover on downs if they're on a good possession than just kick the ball and then they have to deal with the fact they had to return it to them, and they would have a better position than they normally would. Because before you would just like have like a kicker just boot it out the end zone, and it'd be like, okay, you guys are at the 25 yard line. We'll take that. But like, no, I think since teams are being more incentivized to do it, I think there will be like teams that don't would rather not punt. They would rather go for it on fourth down and have like a turnover on downs. And also, I think part of it also was like the Lions of last year kind of like popularized the idea with Dan Campbell, really, because he was being well known for like basically being ballsy on his play call and specifically on those fourth downs. But I think my take for it is I think we'll see more games like these where you're gonna see like those very like low amount of punts. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we have like a career high in like returns on field on like kickoffs, but a career low in punting. Like I would not be surprised by that. And honestly, I think that could be like a case study by like the end of the year, kind of like looking back at this and kind of like seeing the differences between like the stats and kind of like giving an opinion about that. And honestly, you guys let me know in the comments if that would actually be a good idea because I think it would actually be interesting to kind of keep like a note of it really. And the next game is Eagles and Patriots until next Thursday. However, I am gonna still do daily content, and honestly, I'm probably gonna go to more like the MMA part for this channel for like a while. So like next time you see like MMA stuff, like don't be surprised because again, I am a sports channel. Like I don't just cover the NFL. Yeah, a lot of my content has been NFL, but it also because it's like for mixed martial arts, they kind of had like for the UFC, they don't really have a lot of good cars recently, and like 305 is approaching, so I'd rather like do some coverage to kind of like build up to that, and then from there we can kind of like work on a schedule where it's kind of like back and forth between those two until basketball season comes up for NBA, and then it'll just be like three sports going back and forth, back and forth. Because overall, it's like I do like all three sports, and I'd rather like do coverage on like all three of them because I enjoy them, with like willingness to like dabble in those sports here and there. And also, again, it also allows me to kind of like have more fun with some content, do some creative ideas. So be prepared for that. And honestly, yeah, that's about it for this preseason reaction. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and maybe even throw a comment there. I wouldn't mind it. Get some like opinions, get some that sort of stuff about the idea for content. Heck, maybe give me some video ideas for some like mixed martial arts content. Like I already have like some ideas planned out, but like more ideas would actually be helpful. So yeah, that's it. That's that one sports fan. Signing out, guys. Later, everyone.